how do we avoid electrical fires? What causes them? What can we do to prevent them as homeowners? I'm going to cover some of these topics, guys. Stay tuned. Here we go. So, things that we do as homeowners that can cause electrical fires or raise your risk of having a fire. One of the number one causes are extension cords and power bars. So, you have two plug-ins on a normal receptacle. Let's say you're running your computer, and then you want to run a bunch of other stuff, a TV, a radio, a heater. So you get one of these, and you plug it into the other one, and you start doing this. Plug this in, plug this in, let's plug this in, we're gonna plug something else in, and then oh my gosh, please don't do this, I've seen this. And then you take another power bar and plug it into that power bar, so you can get even more plugs.
That's big no-no.
Don't do that. So what causes electrical fires, guys? When you plug that much stuff into one plug, okay, what you're doing is these power bars, this wire, this gauge of wire is very, very thin. They're usually 16 to 22 gauge. Now the receptacle that you're plugging into, most likely that wire gauge size is 14, so it can handle up to 15 amps. These wires cannot handle up to 15 amps. So when you plug all this stuff in through this power bar, electricity is flowing through this cord, say you get close to drawing 15 amps, this cord is going to start to heat up. You don't want that. When this starts to heat up, the insulation in this rubber, it's going to start to melt and fuse together and heat up. And over time, when that happens, let's say even if this was touching a piece of combustible material like fabric or, I don't know, maybe a piece of wood, God forsake, it's going to start to smoke. It's going to cause heat. It's going to create a fire. That's bad. You don't want this. So please do not plug a power bar in and fill it up and then plug another power bar into that one and fill that one up. That's a big risk. Okay? Now, what else causes electrical fires? Okay? Say you're a homeowner, do-it-yourselfer, you're wiring some receptacles, some switches. Say some of your connections are not very good, or they're not making full contact under the screw terminals. Okay, what happens then is you get this little gap between where the wire is connecting to the terminal, and it's gonna, a little bit of electricity is gonna jump. You're gonna see an arc. It literally will create like a little lightning bolt. It's pretty cool. Not good though. So that's also how fires can start. Okay, if you get that arcing in your switches and your receptacles, okay, it's gonna heat up. It's gonna smoke, and if it comes in contact with anything combustible, or it may even just melt the plastic on your switch, and that's also how you can get a fire start. It's not good. Now, so how do we avoid all that? Well, let's say you gotta use one of these because you just don't have enough plugs in your room. And I mean, the quickest fix would be to go and use another plug, but let's say all your plugs are being used and you need more plugs. You need more power too. So let's say you're using one of these and then you even find that your breaker starts tripping. That sucks. Now what's causing that? Well, the cause of your breaker tripping is the breaker is starting to sense that, hey, that 14 gauge wire is getting pretty close to 15 amps. Now that breaker is designed to trip, I believe, at 80% of the load of 15 amps, so that's 12 amps, 12.5 amps. So if you get close to 12.5 amps with all the things that are plugged in your bedroom, your TV, your computer, your phone charger, your laptop, whatever else you may have plugged in there, that breaker is going to go, hey, I don't like that, there's too much power coming down, and these wires are going to start heating up. It's not big enough conductor to handle that much load. The breaker goes, hey, no thanks, bye-bye, no more power for you, and it shuts off. So you go down to your breaker panel, you're looking around your breaker panel, you can see one of your breakers, they're slightly off from the others and they're tripped. You're going to shut that all the way off and turn it back on. So I'm going to show you guys here real quick. We're going to trip the breaker. Okay. I'm going to show you how we can reset the breaker. We'll just give this a second and it'll trip. There we go. Breaker's trip. Now you're gonna head down to your panel and we're gonna take a look at the breakers. Okay. I'll open up our panel here. Okay, we're gonna take a look at all the breakers. Now, as you can see up here, this one is in a different position than all the others. It's kind of in a halfway position. So now to turn this back on, you can't just turn them back on. You have to shut them off, okay, and then flip them back on. And now your circuit is reset. And I mean, unplug some of the things that you had plugged in so it doesn't trip again, or call your local electrician about fixing the issue. Also guys, if you're gonna use these power bars, okay, try plugging your higher power load things like heaters or a computer or something. Plug it right into the receptacle. Okay, and then plug your power bar into the receptacle and just plug all your lower powered things into your power bar if necessary. Well, how do we prevent that from tripping again with all the same things that you have plugged in the same spots? Well, the only way you're gonna get around that problem is two ways. Okay, now the one is you unplug some of the stuff you have plugged in and plug it into another room. Don't run an extension cord into another room. That's not really a good solution. If you can move some of those power sources out of your room, maybe into your living room, like your TV or your computer or something like that, to take some of the load off of that circuit, that will help. That will stop that breaker from tripping and stop your wires from heating up when you're drawing high loads. Now, the only other way to fix that is you pull out your cell phone and you call your local electrician and you tell them what's going on, that your breaker's tripping when you're plugging stuff into your bedroom, and they're most likely going to tell you the only way to fix that is to upgrade the circuit. So if it's a 15 amp circuit, well, now they're going to have to probably bust open some drywall, run some wires, and run 12 gauge wires and give you a 20 amp circuit, because now you've got more power, bigger wire, and you can plug all those devices back in to where they were. So that's how you're going to fix that problem. So please, guys, try not to use these. I get it. It's very handy, and I mean, I'm guilty too of using them, but you create a lot of risk for heating up your wires and causing an electrical fire. Please don't plug one of these into one of these with all these plugs used, plugged into your wall. Very, very high risk. Don't do that. Try to make sure all your connections are good in your receptacles and switches. Tighten down those screws, make those hooks, wrap them around. Do a thorough job, guys. It's your home. Let's be safe. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, hit the comments, maybe shoot a like if you liked it. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.